Hey, Mike. What? Who's got next?
What's good, y'all? It's your man, Hezo. Welcome back to the Blacktop, where I always got next, you feel me? Woo! 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 Hawks fans, we down, but we not out of it just yet. What a game, man. What a game. Ice TRAE finally coming through in the fourth quarter. And boy, whoo, it got cold and it got cold in Atlanta in that fourth quarter, baby. Hawks finally get a win in this series, cut the series to 2-1. Got another home game. You never know, man. Maybe we get some momentum, get game 4. We go 2-2 back to Boston. I'm not going to be that optimistic, but you just never know. Subscribe if you are new. Drop a like on the video. A lot to get into. So let's get right into it. This was a hell of a game from start to finish, man. And Atlanta just found a way to get it done in the fourth quarter, even with Boston's hot shooting pretty much the entire night. Now, they did hit most of their threes in the first half, but Atlanta was able to withstand that. Now, I'll be honest with you. I didn't have high hopes going into this game. I actually thought that Boston would win this game. Obviously, I could not be, happier to be wrong. And this game started out, Atlanta was really getting to the paint. That was where we were pretty much getting primarily all of our points, while Boston, on the other hand, was just strapping from three. Seemed like they weren't missing. It was like they were shooting just in the water. It seemed like they was making everything. They hit 9 threes in the first quarter, while Atlanta was getting pretty much all their points in the paint. But even still, even with Boston making all them threes in the first quarter and in the first half, we was only down 4 at the end of the first quarter, so I felt kind of good. When you give up 9 threes to a team in one quarter and you're only down 4, that's you live with that. I mean, Boston hit 15 threes in the first half alone, which, again, not much you can do about that. I mean, a lot of them were wide open. I mean, let's be honest. But Atlanta's bench really came to play tonight. Saddiq Bey, Bogey, Jalen Johnson had outstanding games, especially Bogey and Saddiq. Now, mainly in the first half. I mean, pretty much all their work came in the first half. Bogey, I don't think missed a shot the entire first half. Saddiq, I don't think missed a shot the entire first half. And if I'm not mistaken, Atlanta was, I think it said 12 for 13 from the field, from the bench mob in the first half. And I think a perfect, 6 for 6 from 3 or 7 for 7 from 3. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like a perfect 3-point shooting half for the bench. Atlanta goes on a huge run in the second quarter, went by up as much as I think 14, 15 points. But dang, man, here comes Boston, makes a run of their own. But we were still up 7 going into the half. Even up 7 at the half, I felt like Boston was just getting every single call go their way. I mean, Tatum took like 4 or 5 steps to even cut it to 7 at the end of the half whenever he got fouled. So he takes 4 or 5 steps, doesn't get called as a travel, and then it gets a ghost foul call on Capella, which was barely any contact. And then he obviously makes 2 free throws to cut it to 7 going to the half. And then on top of that, Al Horford's out here just setting illegal screens almost every possession, man. It just seems like he's just pushing, constantly moving. Like, Dre gets caught in an illegal screen almost every single time when he's guarding Tatum. At some point, I just want to see somebody just run through Al Horford's fucking chest. Like, it's really getting annoying that they're not calling any offensive, illegal screen on Al Horford. Dre kept getting caught in them all night, and some of y'all still expect him to guard Tatum. I don't get it. I'm not going to get into it. Second half started, man. We came out sloppy. A couple turnovers, just missing shots. I think we started the quarter 1 for 7 from 3. Boston goes on their little run, ties the ball game back up, and I'm like, oh, man, here it comes, man. This is where we blow it. And the third quarter, we implode. But we didn't. We got the lead back to around, I think, it was hovering between like 7 and 9 points, 7-10 points, midway through the third quarter. Had it to 10, just about to go into the fourth quarter. And then Grant Williams hits that little step back 3 that he hit. He had a pretty solid game overall. To cut it to 7, cut it back to 7 going into the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, man, we came out horrible. It seemed like it was turnover after turnover after turnover, and it really looked like we were about to implode. I think it was Okongwu that had like 3 turnovers back to back to back. Like, I think it was like 4 possessions in a row we had turnovers. We had like 5 or 6 turnovers within the first couple minutes of the fourth quarter. It wasn't looking good, man. It wasn't looking good. But like I said, that boy TRAE finally TRAE came through. He had an outstanding game. He had an outstanding fourth quarter. Finished with, I think, 15 in the fourth. Hit an incredible three over Al Horford in the corner. And really was just doing pretty much everything he could to will us to this victory. He was getting into the paint. He was making his floaters. He was doing his playmaking. DeJounte hit a couple big shots. He hit that one big three in the corner and then pointed at Derek White. Beautiful thing to see. Now, I don't love the cockiness, but, it is what it is. I get it. Where, at that point, the game wasn't over just yet, but we felt pretty good at that point, right? We just made plays down the stretch of the ball game, while Boston, on the other hand, didn't really get much production from their two guys in the fourth quarter. Tatum was a ghost in the fourth quarter, let's be honest. Outside of the one play that he had when Dre fouled him, Tatum really didn't do much in the fourth quarter. Didn't really have a great game overall in the second half. Jaylen Brown, he was in foul trouble for a lot of the game. He didn't really get going offensively. Marcus Smart was one of their best players, on the offensive end tonight. He hit like 5 threes. Al Horford really got going for Boston in the fourth quarter, but again, it just wasn't enough because your star player didn't show up. Our star player did. Beautiful thing to see for once, man. TRAE finally came through. Hopefully, TRAE can get back on track. We can take some momentum going into game 4. Just a great closeout to the game, and I think our guys really needed this win, not only just for, obviously we would have been down 3-0, and we would have never came back from that because it's never been done in the history of the NBA, but just for our confidence. In the fourth quarter, the guys just looked a lot more confident with shooting the basketball. TRAE looked more confident. DeJounte looked more confident. Now, Dre has struggled. I get it. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to get into my Dre rant tonight, y'all. I'm not. Y'all ain't going to press me to. I'm not doing it. John Collins didn't even play in the entire fourth quarter, and I ain't mad at that because Sadiq really had the hot hand. He played incredible. Played relatively solid enough on defense. A couple lapses on defense from pretty much everybody tonight. We got hit with a lot of backdoor cuts, a lot of legal screens too. I already mentioned that. But just a great close out to the game and a great win to get into the 2-1 series. Again, still got one more game in Atlanta. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to get into my final takeaways for this game. And number 1 was the 3-point shooting. And I mean that for both sides. Boston hit 21 threes in this game. Now, again, 15 of that came in the first half. Only 6 threes in the second half. But when you hit 21 threes in the game and you still lose, that says a lot, man. That's tough to do. Atlanta hit 15 threes. Both teams shot efficiently from the 3-ball. But again, you got to credit Atlanta in the second half for not giving up as many threes. Boston did not shoot as hot from 3 in the second half, obviously only making 6. But still, again, when you make 21 threes and you lose the game, Atlanta's got to build on that. Now, I'm not saying that Boston can't come out and repeat that again next game, but it's unlikely for a team to repeat 2, back-to-back games where they make 20-plus threes as opposed to, we shot relatively well from the 3-ball as well, but only hit 15, got shot 6 threes from the 3-point line, and we still win the game. That speaks volumes, man. That's a good sign for going into game 4. Hopefully we can build on that, keep knocking down our shots, but block up a little bit better on defense, and we might be able to get this series tied. So number 2 is the bench. The bench played incredible tonight. Every guy showed up as opposed to games 1 and 2. It was really just Bogey and Okongwu had his moments, but now it was mainly all in the first half. But even still, it was enough to get our guys a lead and stay consistent through the rest of the game. Bogey was on fire the entire first half. Sadiq was on fire the entire first half. And again, Sadiq played the entire fourth quarter. Jalen Johnson would hit a couple threes. The bench just came to play tonight as opposed to Boston's bench really only had 2 guys really show up as opposed to games 1 and 2. Rob Will really killed us, was making everything inside. Grant Williams and Malcolm Brogdon was really the only guys that showed up for the Celtics bench tonight. Grant hit like 4 threes. I think Brogdon hit a couple threes, but just wasn't enough. Our bench outplayed their bench, and that was a big difference. So my third and final takeaway for this game is that boy TRAE. Again, I don't need to go too much more into, TRAE's performance, but he had an incredible game. Outside of a couple silly turnovers, TRAE really had an incredible game overall. He shot efficiently. He was getting his guys involved. Shout out to TRAE, man. He finally showed up. I've been critical of TRAE in the past. Y'all know this. I'm still going to be critical if he plays bad because he has to continue to show up like tonight. He cannot come out in game 4 and have a stinker game. We got to keep this same. We got to have this same TRAE. Geez, words are hard. This same TRAE show up for game 4, continue to shoot efficiently, cut down on the turnovers, and we should be okay for game 4. Now, I'm not predicting nothing, but we will see what happens. TRAE, a great game, great fourth quarter. Very, very pleased with what I saw from TRAE tonight. So I'm gonna pretty much leave it there, man. I feel so relieved that we actually got a win in this series. We ain't getting swept. Hopefully we don't lose in 5. Just maybe we can get it tied, go back to Boston 2-2. And again, at that point, you just never know what can happen in the series. Marcus Smart took a hard fall late in the fourth quarter. Maybe he misses game 4. You just never know, man. Anything can happen when a team gets on the board with a win and gets momentum and still has another home game to play. I'm not going to pick us to win the series, man. I'm not going to go that far, but I like what I saw from our guys tonight. Let's see if we can continue. Let's see if we can get another win. Y'all leave your thoughts down in the comments. Where do you see this series ending up? Drop a like on the video, and I will see y'all for game 4.